Hey guys, CJ here. I'm bringing back an old series that I did last TF2 season, and that was doing demo reviews of my Highlander games of the last ETF2L season. I got a lot of positive feedback last time we did it around. A lot of people seem to like me going over my demos and explaining what my team and what I was thinking during certain plays, and me pointing out my mistakes and obviously what to work on for next time. So I'm not actually going to do all of the weeks like I did last time around. But this season there were some new maps. There was a new map, and there was also some maps that I'm going to go over, which I didn't do last time around. So there's only going to probably be about 3 or 4 videos this time around. But hopefully they'll be nice to add to the collection from the season before. So this was season 10 of ETF2L Highlander. My team is Strong Opinions. I played medic on them. And we won Premiership of Season 9, so we were crowned the best in Europe. Since Season 9, we went on to play UGC Platinum, and we won UGC Platinum, so we were champions of ETF2L and UGC at the same time. So if you want to watch the UGC games, they are actually live on my channel. The actual live POVs are on a playlist somewhere if you want to watch those. So season 10, we had pretty much the same roster. There was one change. We changed our demo because Corv, who was our previous demo, he had a lot of internet issues and he couldn't commit to playing. So he left, moved back to sub, and we brought Ali, who's another Swedish demo man, and he plays in Premiership 6s as well. So that was the only change to our roster. There are some games where you'll see different players playing. I'll explain why. So we finished second in the regular season in season 10. We had a bit of an up and down season, but we finished second, which meant we got a passage to the semi-finals. We won the semi-finals, we got to the grand final, and this is the one that we're going to be looking at today. Spoiler alert, we did win the grand final, so we are ETF12 champions once again, back-to-back wins. So the final we played was against Fair Enough, and because we finished second, and they finished first in the regular season, it meant they had an advantage over map picks. So they got to pick 2 of the maps that we played. We only got to pick 1. And this first map we're going to show you is CP Gullywash. Now this was Fair Enough's pick. Now they've got players who play on a Sixes team together. They've got a lot of cohesion together. We do have a bunch of players who play on the same Sixes teams. You know, myself, Seal, Toast, Corv, when he played with us, he played on the same Sixes team with us. And then we have people like Ast, Thalash, and Ali who all play on Perilous. So we have a lot of cohesion as well, but 5CP was seen as a weakness to many people. So they picked it against us, hoping it would be a weak map for us. So I'll stop talking now and we'll get straight onto the actual game. I think it's called that. There we go. So this is a 5CP map. So I didn't actually go over any 5CP maps during my reviews last season. That was because they weren't very interesting games. They were either complete rolls or really boring stalemates. But I thought, seeing as this was a grand final, there was a lot of kind of tactical thinking throughout the game. So hopefully my TF2 doesn't crash. I'm hoping it doesn't crash, otherwise I'll have to. Oh, there we go. So here we go. So I'm starting off, and as always, as you guys should probably know, if you play medic, you heal your demo man first, so you can roll out. And we've got our soldier who is whipping us, so we can get to the front lines pretty quickly. Now this is quite a slow game, I will warn you, but there is so much kind of thinking involved. I made 1 or 2 mistakes perhaps that I can think of at the top of my head. So here I'm just trying to help my demo man. And our sniper's really, really weak there. So I'm just trying to give him a little bit of a buff so he doesn't die from the spam. I would have liked to see, I don't know why I walked forward there. I'm just trying to kind of give them something else to shoot at, because our team's not in. But as you can see from the kill feed, our scout kills the medic. And because of that, and the fact that we lost our demo, I just get out of there. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. Like, I want to get out. But because we have Uber, and our engineer there, Seal, is watching the big door area, I'm thinking, okay, at least we have eyes on both doorways. And if they come in here, our pyro can just deflect it. Like, we have the best pyro in the history of the world, literally. Steve is without a doubt the best pyro around. So he can deny any sort of Uber, and I'm not going to be worried about forcing. If I have to use, then it's fine. So anyway, we got our demo man here now, and the call was by Ali to go down, drop down. He wanted us to go down this way and get right into them, and they didn't spot us. As far as I'm aware, they had no idea we were here. And then we use, and our spy gets a pick on the sniper. We kill the pyro, but we don't get the medic, and that was really important for us to try and get the medic there. Excuse me. Because now they have an Uber advantage, so we have to play accordingly. I think this is one of my mistakes coming up here. So I'm just trying to keep our pyro alive. And you can see our demo is really weak. He has to back off, and the Uber's there, and yeah, that's where things we got what's the word? There was miscommunication. I thought we were staying in. That's why I was healing our pyro. I thought our pyro was going to stay in and just air blast them away, and then our demo would follow up. But they wanted to get out, and once I thought one thing, my positioning wasn't in a good position. I wasn't in a good position. If I wanted to get out, I should have been out 3 or 4 seconds beforehand. So yeah, that was early round issues where just miscommunicating with each other, and maybe not just understanding what each other was thinking. But that's fine. So they have an Uber advantage now, and we're holding on last. So at this point, we're not worried, because holding gully last is pretty simple when you've got a pyro who's just going to deny an Uber like this, which is why I try and keep my pyro nice and healthy, and then I just want to survive. That's so close to me dying there. I was hoping my team would just collapse around them. But we're getting kills here, and you see our spy comes in, gets a backstab on the medic and the demo, but then their spy is stood in main. No one's dealing with him. We had so many people alive, somebody should have been shooting there and at least forced him to dead ringer or something. But because he's allowed to stand there and just take pot shots, eventually he gets the headshot onto me. So we trade medics. We do get the second point. But I've spawned here and there's no one. I'm like, can someone meet me please? Can someone meet me please? And Emilio says, our heavy tells me he's going to come back through lobby. So at the moment, I'm saying, look, they may have an advantage here, because we essentially died at the same time, me and the other medic, Skeej. But I wasn't healing for a while, and I'm saying to them, what's the call? What are we doing? And the call was just to play as if it's equal Ubers. Excuse me, sorry. We get a good pick on the sniper there. I'm at 75. We're not building, because we got our entire combo here. We believe that we can deny any sort of Uber that comes in. But that's the worry. And then our sniper gets a huge pick on the demo man. We knew before this game that the enemy team's demo man... So sorry, I'll talk about it in a minute. So we have this push here, and we force them first, but our heavy there, he dies. He was expecting a solo Uber, but as you guys can see, everybody was in that push. And if I had solo Ubered our heavy, our demo man and pyro may have died. So, I make the decision or the call or whatever to have to flash to keep people alive, and then I'm getting chased here. Luckily, I managed to get out. You can see in the chat, Emilio, our heavy, is saying, "You all came into the Uber. I was winning that so hard." If everyone else had stayed out, then he would probably have managed to stay alive and got a few kills. But in the same vein, I don't think we would have got the force as early if everyone else had come in. So again, that was our pushes need to have a little bit of work on. But because I stayed alive, it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to have Uber. And I've got it here. There's a sniper watching. That's why I used. I don't want to drop to the sniper. In my experience, it's better for me to pop. And you can see everyone is just focusing the point, and that's it. And I'm like, guys, an NG on the balcony. Everyone started pushing forward, and there was a couple of players left behind, so that was dangerous there. I mean, I could have, if the soldier and engineer had coordinated there and just pushed forward, they could have probably killed me. But in the end, it works out okay. But it does mean I don't have as big an Uber advantage as as I would have had previously if I'd been healing the whole time, if I had somebody with me. So that's something for me to bear in mind. I'm telling my team, okay, I've got an Uber advantage because the enemy medic died, I believe. But, you know, it's not huge. And with the way things are going, like, we don't want to get picked off in lobby. In Gully Wash, you can have this forward hold where you hold in the lobby. But, you know, it's dangerous. If you lose a player, then it's you know, very, very detrimental to your hold. So we're just kind of consolidating ourselves, getting ourselves into position, and just kind of like... So yeah, I'm stood a bit too far forward here. This is probably not where I should be stood. But I'm just trying to support our demo man, but my positioning's not good. As you can see, our sniper kills the enemy sniper there, and the call here was just to use the Uber and to force. The idea of that being that we use the Uber, and that means they're not going to use the Uber to push us onto last. Did you see what I mean? Because if we hadn't forced them there, then they could have used the Uber, and then we would have done it in a defensive way. Instead, we do it in an aggressive way, and we actually pick up a few kills there. Our scout manages to take down a couple of players, so we're actually getting some decent picks. Now, I'm standing here because I don't want to get sniped, because I've heard the sniper be called, and that's why I'm buffing my sniper. I buff my sniper so he can get forward, get into position. But when a sniper's watching that channel through Big Door, that flank area that's called Big Door, it's very dangerous because I need to cross through. There's no way for me to get out unless I go all the way around and go through top. So we defend that well, and that was a really good aggressive push from us. We managed to force them, and then we managed to get the picks needed to kind of just push them out onto the midpoint. So we've got in control of second again. And again, we're kind of in this stalemate situation, and we're just waiting for our sniper to get picks. Because I think one of the... So our sniper, he's on a 5 kill streak. He gets a kill onto the enemy sniper, which is really, really good. And that gives us a little bit more room. Now, the call here was to just solo Uber to try and get the force. And then I'm getting worried because I'm like, I'm going to die. But our Pyro manages to do it. And then we're re-pushing with the Conqueror. So this was really good, and we've got some picks here. We do lose our Pyro, but then the Engineer is behind us and gets the kill. So that was a really good push from us. We just used the Uber on our demo man. We pushed through the choke, forced them, and because this is a demo man, he can spam stickies everywhere and force the enemy team to have to flash their Uber, which means we had a better Uber. I back out, our soldier uses the Conqueror, and then with that, everyone's faster, everyone's getting heals when they shoot stuff, and then we just push through, and then we pick up all those kills. The only bad side of that was the fact that I got killed by an engineer that flanked through somewhere. Actually, even watching that, I don't know where he came from. But because I died there, that means they do have an Uber advantage. And then they get really aggressive here, which totally caught us off guard. We weren't expecting them to be that aggressive. We knew they had an Uber advantage. We knew that they were going to have the Uber. We didn't expect them to be pushing that quickly. So that totally caught us off guard there. We probably should have left somebody in the choke to do something about it. As you can see here, I went to my menu and I changed to quick fix because, excuse me, they've just used their Uber, but they're still going to have an advantage. I'm not going to have it. I have to tell Stalash because he is a 6s player. I was like, dude, you don't need to build with the quick fix. The great thing about the quick fix is that it's always building at maximum capacity. You know, with Uber and crits, you need to have, you know, it builds faster if you're healing someone who's not fully buffed. With the quick fix, it doesn't matter if you're fully buffed; it will still build at the fastest rate. So I just want to have some sort of charge up for defense, and the quick fix is a decent thing for that, seeing as it builds so quickly. So they're trying to go for this river push. It's cooled, and so I'm going to hide here, and I'm just going to keep my Pyro alive. And we just use this quick fix. They can't push us off the point. I'm not sure if our Pyro dies there, but yeah, he does eventually, but he gets so much damage, and then our demo just spams some pipes down there and manages to kill their medic. Now, because we killed their medic, I go back to spawn, and I change back to medigun. Because I've killed their medic, it may mean that I no longer have like a 20-30% advantage, but it means that I'm not stuck on quick fix for, you know, fighting on the next few points. Because, you know, quick fix is fun, as a medic to play as, in my opinion, but it's not very good on some maps. And Gullywash, it can be very difficult because it is such a choking map from second to mid, that you will struggle to actually to push with a quick fix. So now I'm back on Medigun and we're kind of like, okay, this is equal Ubers. And our spy goes huge again. He kept getting picked. You see he's dominating the enemy sniper there, De Milchman, and he was just on him the entire game. So we're just trying to poke and prod here. There's no sniper, which means we can get a little bit more aggressive in chokes. It means our sniper can get a little bit further forward. But like I said, in some games, like on Payload for example, or even on King of the Hill, if you get a sniper pick, it's so big that sometimes you're just like, yeah, let's go forward, and you can go forward and take that ground. But on a map like Gullywash, and even on generally on 5CP maps, you get a sniper pick, you still have a choke to go through, and you still have to use your Uber before the enemy team, and you still are going to be forced in that choke for most of that fight. So our spy is spawn camping the sniper, gets the sniper again, but still, we're trying to play this slow. That was the call from our demo man. Normally our heavy, Emilio Estevez, does the main calling in our team, basically. But Ali was doing a lot, we decided to try to do him do main calls, on the 5CP maps, because he's very sixes orientated and he's got a lot of he's kind of in a better position to do that. So the call here was to rotate our sniper down over to this big door area to see if he can get any picks, because we killed their sniper. We took a little bit of long time to do that. Maybe it would have been more effective if we'd done it as soon as we got the sniper pick. But the idea was to get our sniper over to the big door to see if he can get any more picks. Our spy gets the sniper again. Toast was absolutely going ham on the sniper this game, which is really what you need. Sniper is such a key class in Highlander that if your team can shut him down as effectively as we were doing, it gives our sniper so much more room. So again, the call was, let's rotate over to big door. Let's get our sniper some space. As you can see, our combos here, we're trying to get him space. No one can jump him easily because there's a heavy stood right there, and because their sniper is down, then he's not going to get picked off. So what we get there, we get an NG pick, and we get our sniper finally gets a soldier. So that's a couple more picks. So I think at the moment we're 6 versus 3, but still you don't want to push in. And oh yeah, that was it. So they pushed in through choke with Uber. They got forced, and I'm just trying to get my team in here. Our soldier gets a really good kill onto the enemy demo man. The enemy demo man is very important to their team. He does the main calling, and he is kind of their playmaker. He's the guy that gets a lot of the work done. But so our players trying to kill him was very, very important. And yeah, I think that was more of a mistake from their part. We're just trying to make space. We weren't going for a push. We got about 3 kills on them, and they decide they're going to push in through choke, which was, I can maybe understand they were trying to do something, but they used Uber really early on, and we were just able to counter it and do it. So once again, we're in this position where we're in control of a point, they're in control of the other point, and we're equal Ubers. We can't push on this. We're just trying to get some picks. So that's why I'm just constantly healing my sniper. And during that moment, when I'm trying to get our sniper fully buffed, Spy comes in, which was, yeah, a good play by him. That was, I think, my only drop in this game. Normally I'm looking behind me, but when there's a lot of people to heal, it can be quite difficult, because obviously you need to look at a target to initiate that healing beam. And missing my arrows. But our sniper gets a pick onto the demo man. So like I said earlier, the demo man is very, very important to their team. He was kind of like the playmaker for their team, and I don't think we can hold this second point, but we can have this kind of aggressive hold. And now we killed their sniper, we're trying to get a little bit more aggressive. They've got no sniper, no demo man to deal with, and we're getting a few kills. So things are working out pretty well for us. We can actually recapture this point because of those kills. And then, so what happened there, Thalash, our scout, went huge. He managed to get sort of the heavy and the medic. But in the midst of all that, the spy just kind of forces his way through and gets the kill onto me. So difficult there. Maybe the people around me could have killed the spy a bit quicker. But it's not really something you expect, is it? Like an ambi spy to just walk through your combo and just try to body shot you. So in all of that exchange, we've won the midpoint. thanks to basically individual plays there from our scout, our sniper, our spy, and then the rest of the team just cleaning up the frags. But overall, we're kind of back where we were about 2 minutes ago, which is in control of the midpoint and equal Ubers. So we can't really push off of this. There's nothing we can really do. It is equal Ubers, I thought, but it's not, judging by where we're standing. So actually, because I died later on than the enemy medic, we're about 20-30% behind, which is why we're holding kind of this far back. What we're trying to do is trying to keep our sniper really fully healed, so that he's watching the choke point. That's where they're most likely to come through, and that means they're going to have to use their Uber quite early on. And it seems they decide not to go through with it because, I don't know, they lost players or they were scared of the sniper, I don't know. But that's the idea there. If you're holding mid but you've got a disadvantage but you've got all of your players up, just have your players play a little bit more passive. Have your sniper watching the choke, and do something like that. So in this instance we lose our sniper, so we send in our soldier with the conch to try to get a force. And what he does, he actually makes some space. He actually creates some space there for our heavy to walk in, and our heavy kills the enemy sniper. So we didn't get the force, but we've got a sniper pick, and that again is going to allow us a little more movement and freedom. But they use their Uber here. They drop their pyro and their soldier. Now their soldier, fair enough, play with their soldier in the combo on 5CP maps, which weakens their flank, obviously. But the fact that we got him down was really, really important. Now here, I don't want to cross. I want to stay close to this wall, because the sniper is up in riverside. He's up in river, and if I followed my teammates there, I would get sniped. All it takes is a headshot or a fully charged body shot, and I'm down. So in that situation, I had to be very, very aware of where I was standing. But in the end, we managed to capture the second point, and we're doing this kind of this hold where we don't have Uber, so we don't want to be in lobby, because if you're in lobby, like I was saying earlier on when we were defending, you can have an aggressive hold in lobby, but it does mean that you can get picked off. And the same works if you're pushing into lobby. I don't want to get picked off. I don't have Uber. I don't want to get forced when I have the Uber, but I also don't want to get picked off before I get it, because that's such a huge pick. They may be able to push out on it. So we're just kind of doing this passive. Well, it's not even passive. It's just kind of holding this area, which is known as big door. Like I've been saying, we've got all of our players here, just waiting for someone to get a pick, waiting for someone to get a kill that we could do something with. A sniper kill would allow us to have a little bit more movement and peeking through the chokes. A pick on the demo man would allow us to walk in, but instead we get their spy gets a backstab on our demo man, and the soldier takes down who was it that died? I can't even see. But we lost, our sniper, that was it. So we got no sniper, no demo man. So those are two really, really huge kills. And in the end, it's the enemy team that gets them on us. So they use the Uber here, and I'm just soloing it on our heavy. It's not going to get anything done, but it just means that they can't do anything with their Uber. We just kind of deny their Uber. Our heavy got really aggressive there, and I'm not sure why, but I don't question what he does. He does his thing, and it usually works. And yeah, we managed it. We're getting kills here. We're getting kills. And I'm just, our sniper there is like, I want heals, but the important players for me there were to heal our demo man and our pyro, because they're the fragging classes. They're the ones that can move forward and get the space. And in making that space, our soldier then comes in and gets the medic picks, which is the huge kill that we wanted, the huge kill that we needed. I'm now like 3 seconds away from having full overcharge. We've got our players alive, and they've just lost their pyro. That is such a big pick. If they lose their pyro, that means he can't air blast, he can't deny the Uber like we saw our pyro do earlier on when we were defending our last point. So let's remember, this is still the first round. This is still insanely close. But the thing is, things are getting delayed here because we didn't capture the second point. We weren't getting cap time. Ideally, I would have liked to have been pushing by now because we had our spawns. But we still have an Uber advantage, and now we're just saying, where do we want to push from? And the call was, let's go top right, which is through this shutter door. And I'm like, guys, we need to make a move. I don't like, fannying about here. We send our pyro in, but our scout in, but the pyro is there. He had time to respawn. We do get the kill onto the medic, but then this scout came in from behind, and he killed me and our heavy, which basically kills our push. I don't know where the scout came from. I'd be interested to know where he came from, where he was allowed to come through. I'm guessing he came in through river, but he was the one that killed that push there for us. We just got their medic, so the enemy team had no heals. All we needed to do was hold that top right area, and then we could just rain damage down on them, and eventually we would win the point. But instead, the scout comes behind and just kills me and the heavy, which totally takes away our area control. So the team actually pushes out. We get a pick onto the sniper, which allows me to walk a bit further forward now. Sorry, burping a lot here today. And Seal there gets a 2k. He's actually on a 3k, but the 2 kills he gets out of the pyro and the heavy. You know, if your engineer can go and get 2 huge combo picks like that, it's really important. So we got some time on the point. I'm not sure who that was, but the call was to try and start pushing in. But then Ali called our demo, who's doing the main calls on this map, said no, stop what you're doing, back it out. Let's, because that was one of our problems, is that we would be in a position like that and we would push straight through, and then we'd wipe, and it would all go wrong. So we decided that the kills that we had weren't enough to make a last push. So we just back off, and we're just playing it slow. We're playing it slow. That was the plan on this game, to just take things slow and wait till we had a huge advantage and do something with it. Now our heavy goes in it, and I use the Uber because I take a stick, and our demo said he was weak, and this push isn't going to work. So that wasn't ideal from us. I maybe should have just let our heavy go by himself. So it may have looked like he was doing something dumb, but he would probably have actually survived there just with a buff and me leaving him alone. And then we could have worked around that heavy pick, but as it is, I had to use my Uber, so just chilling now, and we're just kind of, this was where we just made our home, just waiting here, waiting for our players to make plays. That's what it is, and you're in this situation, it's not just about waiting. From my point of view, I'm waiting, but from other points of views, from other players, they're trying to do stuff. Our scout is running in and trying to get kills. Our soldier's trying to coordinate with him and do some damage. Our spy and our sniper are trying to get angles to try and go in and get an important kill. So, it may be a slightly boring point of view when it's the medic, but from the rest of the players, they're the ones trying to get the kills. And now the enemy team's starting to try to push out here. And they can't do it because we're locking down this area so well, and they're trying to get time on the point. So what we're doing, we're just saying, okay, you get onto the point, and we'll just stand here and we'll try to kill you as you're trying to cap. But in the end, they stop. They don't push out. That's the thing from their point of view as well. They're trying to gauge it and trying to be like, okay, let's push out and try to recapture the point, because they don't want to be stuck on their last point. If you look at the time left, there's just about 5 minutes left in this game. It's a half an hour time limit on 5CP maps. If it's 0-0, it goes to golden cap. And they don't want to risk losing a round now, because you saw in the first 15 minutes, it was literally around the 15-minute mark. The first 15 minutes, we were pretty much on the back foot. We were the ones defending our last point, defending our second point, trying to do something. And then after that halfway point, we started becoming in control, and now we're kind of in control of these 4 points, trying to push this last point, trying to make something happen. And this is where we're trying to send in Raptor, our soldier, trying to make him do a bomb to try to get the medic, try to get something for us to make some room. Because the problem with 5CP and Highlander is that there's so many players alive, that unless one team vastly out DMs the other, it's very difficult to push in through points unless you have a big advantage. A big advantage could be a big player advantage or a big Uber advantage, something like that. And Gully Wash last, you can just have your players stand in certain positions and then just focus on the point. So we get 3 big picks there. We get their soldier, we get their sniper, and their spy, I believe, is dead. Actually, no, he's not. I heal the spy, and I'm telling my team, please kill him. I'm not too worried at that point unless I go under 102 health. When you play, Viljack is a very good gun spy. Toast on my team is probably the best spy in Europe, in the world right now, I would say, without a doubt. He plays, gun spy, and in that situation, unless you're, if you're under 102 health, he's going to try and headshot you. So as long as you've got more than that, then you've got that kind of time for your team to do it. So we're trying to get forward here, and we're taking lobby now, which is an aggressive move from our part, but we're trying to get our sniper in, trying to get him some space. And if he can get a pick, then it's an important one. We're trying to the holy grail is the medic. Obviously, if we can kill the medic, then it means we have Uber, they don't have Uber, and we can go in and we can be invincible. They can't be invincible, and they can't have someone to heal them. That's the general idea of what's going on. As you can see, Cherry there in the chat saying ZZZ, because it is kind of very slow paced, but we don't want to throw away our advantage either. We're in control of the majority of the map. We do lose our demo there though. So at this point we're kind of okay, they might want to push out here. Not sure how much time is left. I can't actually check it on the demo. We're kind of like, okay, there's only a few minutes left to go, and this will go to golden cap, and they don't, they could be like, okay, we don't want this to go to golden cap. We want to, we want to win it now. But they decide not to push out. It allows our players to get, a respawn time. And some of us were saying, look at the time, we're running out of time. And our demo man, Ali, he was just like, don't worry about the time, guys. It's fine. It's fine. We're in control. Don't worry about it. Again, we lose a couple of players. We lose our soldier. We lose our sniper. So at that point, that's where I'm just kind of like, okay, be prepared that they might want to push. Be prepared that I might have to use my Uber. And that's it, really. Just trying to keep my players buffed. Trying to keep them alive. And then Steve actually kills the sniper. I don't know how he did that. Sniper must have been pretty aggressive, or Steve just did his thing. He does the pyro thing. And because the sniper's dead, that was the call that we're going to do a push. We're going to go in and exchange. So I use on our pyro, flash in my demo man as best I can. We get a kill onto the heavy, which is pretty big. It allows us for the possibility of a repush. But because we lose our sniper, we're just kind of hesitant on that. But I'm just watching kind of the kill feed now, because I'm thinking who's dying, who's doing something, and we're not getting any kills that could allow us to do something. But if you look there, Raptor kills Skeege. Skeege is their medic. So Raptor there did a huge bomb. I'm backing off here because in that instance they're going to send forwards play to try and kill me. They've got no medic. They're at Uber disadvantage. They're pushing forward. They just like, okay, we can't allow them to get the Uber. When I'm in this doorway, they can't push into me. So we're just kind of backing off, and then the call was let's go river, and we're going to do what's called the river push, which we push in, we kill the sniper. Seal kills the sniper, which is the biggest pick I wanted in this thing, and you'll see why in about 3 seconds. I want to get into the water area, which is underneath. A sniper there can one-shot me, and I don't want to use my Uber there. So the idea is I get my pyro into water, and then he's just going to Uber onto the point, and he's going to kill stuff on the point. Now, unfortunately, we lose our heavy, but we have a pyro on the point who can air blast people, and in doing so, air blast people off the point, and manages to get the thing with 35 seconds left on the clock. So 35 seconds left is, I don't think that's enough for them to capture a point, capture an entire round in Highlander. So that's why the GGs are coming out into the chat. But basically, yeah, the whole idea of the river push is that we send our pyro and our heavy in through the underneath area. I Uber the pyro onto the point, he pushes people off, and our heavy gets the cap time, and I flash him if I need to. Because their heavy was so aggressive, it kind of caught us off guard. He manages to kill our heavy, but in the end, because our pyro was there air blasting and getting a lot of damage and kills, and everyone else following through, it really worked. So that was the first map, and that put us into a really good mood, because 5CP, like I said, was their choice. It was their preference. During the season, they actually beat us on process, so that's why they picked a 5CP map. They felt it was our weakness, but we played really, really well there. Our entire team, shout outs to our entire team, obviously, but Raptor with the big pick right at the end there to get the medic, which actually allowed us to get the push, and Ali with all of his main calling on demo did really, really well on this map, and Cloudy as well really shut down the sniper with Toast. So everyone played really, really well there. I'm not going to continue in this video. I'm going to call it a day. and because that was quite a long map, a lot of 5CP for one day. The next map in the grand final was actually PL Upward. So as a payload map, it's a map you guys have seen before on demo reviews and on live POVs. But again, I thought as it was the grand final, I'd go over it, talk about what I was thinking, because we essentially played a similar sort of style, but different demo man. There were some slight differences in what we were doing, and obviously it was a grand final. You guys want to see what was going on. So thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your comments. If there's any questions you have about the season or anything you saw in the video about why I did certain things, why certain players did certain things, ask away. If I don't know the answer myself, I can always ask the people on my team, and they can get in touch with me, and I can tell you what they were thinking. But as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The next one will obviously be Upward. I'll be doing that as soon as I can, and I'll see you next time. Take care.